Good morning. Thank you for joining us at Caridad Community Kitchen. Today is going to be part 2 of our meal kit video. Yesterday we started with our watermelon salad and our paletas. So today is going to be the entree version of that. So we are going to do a sesame ginger and chicken salad wrap with a Napa slaw. So this morning we're going to do our Napa slaw with myself, Chef Izzy. And then we're going to do our sesame ginger vinaigrette with Marcella, who's the lead cook for training. And then we're going to bring it all together at the end with the chicken and the sesame ginger and show you how to build it and present on that. So I hope you enjoy this video and thanks for joining us. All right, so the first part of our Napa slaw is we're going to need some Napa cabbage. Everything's already been cleaned and washed, so we're not going to show you how to do that. Hopefully you guys remember how to do that from class. So you will need a chef's knife, cutting board. So I have my Napa cabbage right here, if no one's familiar with it. So what I want to do first is I want to cut it in half, lengthwise, right? Very similar to the fennel yesterday, right? There's a little root in there, so we want to go ahead and V that out, right? I'm going to take that out. It's very bitter, so we want to make sure we take that part out, right? Keeping our board clean, turning it over, all right? And we just want to give it a nice little julienne, pretty fine. You can go as thick or as thin as you like. I like mine pretty thin. All right, so we're just going to start from the top. You don't want to get too close to your fingers. We can discard that. And all of this can go directly into our bowl from here. All right, so step 2 of putting together this Napa slaw. We have our Napa cabbage. I only did half the head, but the recipe will call for the full head. And I'm only going to show you guys how to do half of these, right? So we're not going to spend the whole time just julienne red and yellow peppers. But we want to take our pepper, but most importantly, like when you're shopping for peppers, you want to try to make sure that you find the ones that are most flat. These are pretty flat, so they're going to be pretty easy to julienne. So I like to take my pepper, cut it right in half. Deseed it into something. All right, then just kind of open it up. Get rid of that white bitter part inside. Keeping the board clean, making sure there's no seeds. Right, so from here, right, we never want to cut it on the skin side so it doesn't bounce, for those of you who don't remember. All right, and then we just want to give it a nice fine julienne. Right, pull them apart if you need to. Right, so we got some nice thin julienne. And we want to do the exact same thing with the yellow pepper. All right, so now that brings us to our green onion portion of the Napa slaw. So we've cut our Napa cabbage, we've cut our red bell peppers and our yellow bell peppers. So we're going to cut up our green onions. Like I said, all of our vegetables have already been washed. So I like to take off the top portion of the green onion, just kind of get rid of it. We're going to cut down to the white part. Like depending on how thick or thin you like your green onion, like I like mine pretty thin because I like to get green onion in every bite. But like I said, this is completely up to you. So starting from the top, right, just nice little circles, nice slice. You know, it really adds some freshness to it, you know, and that's about as far as we're going to go, you know. So, and this, once again, can go directly into our bowl. All right, so last but not least is our cilantro, our fresh coriander portion of it. So this is the last of the knife work that we'll be doing. There's some other components that we'll go into it. So, you know, like so it's got the little tie on it. You know, I just like to take it right there. And we don't have to worry about destemming it. You know, like it's very, very tender. So I just like to roll it up, fold it over. We're not going to chop it super fine, you know, just a once through. And that's it. We're going to go straight into our bowl with this also.
Hi, this is Marcella again. I hope you guys enjoyed our last videos. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make the sesame vinaigrette, which you'll be using for your Napa salad and your sesame chicken wrap. Hi guys, so we're going to jump into the recipe, and as many of you went through the program, I hope you remember that it's good to have your mise en place, especially when we're doing vinaigrettes. That way you're not running back and forth or anything. So I have my garlic, my soy sauce, my ginger, my oils that I need, my rice vinegar, and the tahini paste, and our sesame oil. I already put our honey in the bowl just because it's tedious to take it, pouring it out of the container. So our first thing we'll do is chop our garlic. I'm going to smash it with the flat end of my knife. Pretty hard, don't be shy. And then you want to mince it. Depending on how you want your garlic, you can have it a large mince, or if you want it smaller, you can mince it a little bit smaller. All right, put it into our container. All right, so next is in there, we'll put our garlic. Make sure you grab all the goodness. Our soy sauce. Our ginger. And our tahini paste. Okay. Then we'll start whisking everything together, but first we want to make sure we have our towel. Wrap it, make sure to hold our bowl so it doesn't go anywhere while we're whisking all our ingredients together. So we're just going to mix everything together, combining it all. As you can see. Now I'm going to start adding my oil in slowly while I'm still whisking at the same time. So okay. So you want to pour the oil in slowly, not fast, because then you'll break your vinaigrette. If many of you remember breaking your vinaigrettes. And you just want to keep whisking at the same time. If you have to stop and scrape around the bowl, make sure all the oil is incorporated. Continue with your oil. So I've gone through about half of my oil. I'm going to start adding some of my rice vinegar. Same thing, add it in slowly while you're still whisking. All right, added the rest of my oil. I'm gonna whisk it all in, scrape the bowl. All right. And there you go. It should look something like this.
All right, so I hope you're enjoying everything that we're going over so far. Thank you, Marcella, for making the dressing. Thank you, Megan, for videoing. So next, we're going to get into the chicken portion of our chicken sesame ginger wrap. Right, so we have all the components for our Napa slaw. Marcella's made our vinaigrette. So now we're going to go into poaching our chicken. So we're going to start with a couple of trimmed and clean chicken breasts already. These have the tenderloins on, right? I have a pot with cold water. Like, we want to start with cold water, cold pot, cooking from the inside out, and then bringing it up to temperature and then turning it down, right? So I'm going to go ahead and gently put my chicken in my pot of water, right? And so the next part of this is we need to put together and assemble a sachet. So sachet, satchel, sack, right? So we got some cheesecloth that we have right here. So one of the main parts of working with cheesecloth is, you know, anytime you're working with cheesecloth and when you get your kits at home, please remember to rinse it out. You know, it's been sitting in a bag or whatever, it's probably collected some particles, right? So we just kind of want to give it a little rinse, right? So we have our cheesecloth, we have a bay leaf, right? We have some butcher's twine, right? We have some thyme and 3 peppercorns, right? You can use fresh thyme or you can use dry thyme. We're using dry right now. You can use a sprig of fresh thyme, right? So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fold it over. Fold it once this way, fold it once this way, you know, and then we're just gonna make just a little pouch, you know, so nothing escapes from it, just so we can kind of get all those flavors out. All right, and then we're gonna put our butcher's twine down. Right, and we're just going to tie a little knot. Make sure it's nice and tight. Then we're going to drop it in our water nice and gently. Right, we're going to tie it to our... All right, and then we're going to turn our water on. We're going to bring it up to a boil. Should take about 20 minutes, and for it to hit internal temperature of 165, and then we're going to shred it. All right, so we had our chicken in our water. We were poaching it, right? We showed you how to assemble the sachet. So we went ahead and cooked a little bit of chicken off already, so you wouldn't have to wait the whole 20 minutes for it to hit 165. So I have some chicken in here, right, with some tongs. I'm going to gently take the chicken out the hot water. I'm going to, you know, kind of shake off the excess water, right? Putting onto our cutting board, right? And with a couple forks, we can shred this. I mean, if you have a food process, not a food processor, but a KitchenAid at home with a paddle, that'll work also. But if you don't, 2 forks work just fine, right? So I'm just going to take my forks and kind of just start to pull it apart. With one fork, I'm holding it down, right? And the other fork going with the grain, just kind of pulling it apart, right? You can see it's falling apart, right? It's still warm, right? At this point, I can probably start to pull it apart with my hands, right? Depending on if, you know, how hot your hands can take it, Just having it shredded, right? And one of the most important parts of this process is making sure that we really want to dress this while it is still warm. The warmer it is, right, it's going to absorb the dressing. So it's just going to go into the bowl, right? We're going to take some of that dressing that Marcella made earlier, right? I'm going to give it a little whisk just to kind of bring it back. Pouring them from the outside. Setting some aside because we're going to need some of that for the wrap. Mixing that together. All right, we're going to take a little pinch of green onion, a little pinch of cilantro. There we go. We're going to set that in the cooler. We're going to bring it down to below 41, and then we're ready to roll our burritos. Thank you. All right, so this brings us to our final portion of our sesame ginger chicken wrap. So we have all of our components done, we have our dressing done, we have our chicken done, we have our Napa slaw done, but we do have to put a couple finishing touches on our slaw. So we have some unsalted peanuts. I really like peanuts in my slaw, so I go really heavy. Once again, you can put as many as you like. If you're allergic to nuts, please don't put any. Jesse. We got some carrots in here, right? Give it some color. All right, and then we're going to take our sesame ginger vinaigrette. We're going to bring it back a little bit. It is a temporary. We're going to dress it on the outside. Right, just going to mix that up. You're going to have enough of this slaw for a few days. So like if you make this in enough time, enough chicken, you can probably snack on this for a couple, 2-3 days. So that is what our finished product should look like. Right, lots of color, very beautiful. All right, so now we're going to go into assembly. All right, depending on how thick you like your burritos or your wraps, like I don't like mine too thick. All right, we're going to lay a couple down, lay a little bit down. Set that off to the side. Grabbing our chicken. All right. Spreading it out evenly. All right, bring those corners in. Bring the corners in. There we go. Spinach wrap with sesame ginger and Napa cabbage slaw. Thanks for joining us.